as many of you know, wherever I travel, I try to see at least one archaeological site. This past week in Yucatan, I saw 7, and 4 of them in just one day when I took the Ruta Puuc, when I visited Puuc, which was my first time there also, again, since 2008. But then, because I had hired a taxi to take me to the other sites, this was a bucket list item. I finally had the opportunity to see 3 of the other major sites of the Ruta Puuc, which were the Sayil, Xlapac, and Labna. And I took extensive photos and videos from all 3 of the other sites, in addition to Puuc. Uxmal could also be considered part of the Ruta Puuc. I spent an entire day just there. I also would like to see Oxquintoc, but time constraints didn't allow that one. But that's definitely a reason to come back to Yucatan to explore more of the Puuc Maya culture from that specific part of the Maya land. And this is a reminder that Yucatan is just one subculture within a much larger Maya land area. And I know for many people, they go to Cancun and they will take like the day trip to Chichen Itza, or they'll take the day trip down the coast of Quintana Roo to visit Tulum. And that may be their only experience of a Maya archaeological site, which is great. It's good for them to have that chance that they take the effort to learn something about the indigenous cultures of this area. And I appreciate that. It's just also important to remember that these are, on the one hand, are representatives of this larger Maya civilization, but they are not the essential epitome. There is remarkable diversity among the various Maya sites in the area. The sites of Copan have extraordinarily intricate hieroglyphic writing. Tikal has ornate pyramid and acropolis architecture, as well as a very distinct artistic style that you find in their pottery, in their hieroglyphic designs, and in their carvings. The Puuc region, where I was for most of the archaeological sites in Yucatan, is also, on the one hand, have many commonalities with the Maya civilization, such as the focus on pyramid structures and the ball court, and an emphasis on using the resources of largely tropical forests. But at the same time, the Puuc is distinct. For example, with the repetitive geometric designs that you find on the friezes, the tops of many of the buildings. And this is especially epitomized at the site of Uxmal. Also an emphasis on the feathered serpent, Cuculcan, or Quetzalcoatl from the central Mexico. The feathered serpent is very common in the Puuc Maya area, as well as the masks of the rain god Chac, which seems to have combinations with elements of the macaw parrot as a symbol of political power and authority. So those, like say, these repeated geometric mosaic designs, the rain god Chac, the feathered serpent Cuculcan, and other aspects distinguish the Puuc Maya region, such as Chichen, or parts of Chichen, Uxmal, and other sites of the Ruta Puuc area. So those are the kinds of things that I saw, especially in the region of among the archaeological sites that I saw across the week in Yucatan. So I saw those 4 Ruta Puuc sites: Puuc, Sayil, Xlapac, and Labna. I saw Chichen. It was my 4th time to Chichen since 1992. Uxmal, and Tzipilchaltun, which is just north of Merida. So I got to see a variety of beautiful architecture and art from this area that characterizes or that represents the Puuc and also the Chenes subcultures of the Maya region. So this was, I'm very grateful that I had the chance to not only retake but also expand upon those and take more photos of places that I hadn't even seen before of the sites that I had formerly visited. So, for example, parts of Tibil Chaltun that are now open to climb into or to descend into that I didn't even know existed. So this was a chance to then rebuild a lot of my former photography and videos, but also to take new photos and new videos of places I hadn't even explored before. So I was really happy to have been able to do that despite the intense heat. And that was another thing that I really had to reflect on, was that I need to be better prepared to handle the intense heat and humidity, which often reached the lower, like pretty much all week long, reached the lower 90s and under very high humidity. But because I'm doing a lot of my photography and videos with my new iPhone 16 Pro, it is very energy demanding, and I need to carry some sort of recharger, like a portable battery, so that I don't run into the problem that I had frequently with, say, not only absence of reception, absence of Wi-Fi, but also absence of power. The phone was an energy drain under various circumstances, and I just need to be better prepared for that. So those were some of the important things that I got from thinking about the history of the Maya. And another important part, so what I want to do now is talk about some of the general things that I'm sure you've come to expect from my travels. So not only did I visit archaeological sites, but I did many of the same things that you've come to expect from my travels, not only in Mexico, but other parts of the Americas. So I bought my souvenirs. And so this is the section where I talk about that. Of course, I bought books. So usually I will buy books. And this time I got a cookbook of highlights from the Yucatan cuisine. So I was kind of deciding between this one and a larger one, but this one had some of the essentials such as cochinita pibil. And my favorite meal from the entire trip was at the hotel I stayed at in Chichen Itza. It's a fish or a sea bass dish called tiquín chic, which means dry fin. And it was easily my favorite meal of the whole trip. And so I was very happy to see that it was included in this cookbook. I haven't even unwrapped it yet, but I'm looking forward to doing this. And I'm probably going to take this up to share with my mom in case she wants to try some of these, prepare some of these recipes herself. Another book that I got was about Mayan mythology, and I wanted to show, this is by Rodan Peniche Barrera, illustrations by Juan Ramon Chan Alvarado. And look at these illustrations. I'm just kind of cracking it open to random signs here. These look like Alushob, like the dwarves of Maya folklore. It has references to mythology. It has references to folk tales, many of which have Maya names. Oh, Waipop, which reminds me, I just opened this part up. Again, look at these beautiful illustrations. This from the monster made of sleeping mats. So if this is what I think it is, the mat wings like sleeping mats, which reminds me a lot of the Tlahuelpuchi. And a folktale that I narrated in Nahuatl, which I also have on this channel, and I'll point to its link up, or I'll point to its name up here. This idea of a witch that can replace her limbs with mats to fly and turkey legs to go forward. This is very common in central Mexico. For example, the Mometzcopinqui and some forms of the Tlahuelpuchi that change their limbs in order to fly at night and suck the blood of children. My souvenirs from Yucatan would have been incomplete without at least some honey. I bought this bottle at the site of Uxmal at the gift shop, and I had to get some of this because it is the smoothest honey I have ever tasted. The honey from Yucatan is always of the premium quality. And in fact, honey was a major industry in the northern Yucatan Peninsula for centuries. Yucatan was the major source of honey for the ancient Mesoamerican world, especially among the Yucatec-speaking Maya peoples in the northern part of the peninsula.
Peninsula. And I'm definitely looking forward to trying this with the coffee and other snacks that I'll be having along the way. In fact, honey industry was such an important part of the culture in northern Yucatan that there was even up to the colonial period evidence for or reference to the god of the bees and honey, Ahmus and Kab, and and even some representations of diver gods that appear to be carrying honeycombs. So it was a very important part of the Maya culture in the northern Yucatan Peninsula. So I'm definitely looking forward to partaking of some of this, which was given this kind of sacred quality among the Maya, and is still a very popular souvenir to get in this part of Mexico.
Other souvenirs include this cute little magnet that I got from Chichen Itza, which shows a jaguar climbing one side of the Castillo pyramid and then the serpent on the other. And I got this one because I finally had the chance to see the serpent shadow effect on the equinox at Chichen. So the serpent descending down the balustrade is a memento of this bucket list moment for me. Of course, had to buy coffee. I bought this bag in Merida, and it comes from grains that were harvested in Chiapas. And of course, chocolate from the famous Chocolate store. It's a chain in Mexico. So I got this instant chocolate drink powder. At the Chocolate store, I also got this adorable little sugar skull because it's a chocolate skull of dark chocolate, because the Days of the Dead are coming up at the end of the beginning of November, and also because Halloween season, Days of the Dead were coming up. I got another box of chocolates from that store, and this one has these really pretty, like say, gothic skeleton and roses and a bird cage, and then a chart of the chocolates that are inside this box, which I haven't even opened yet, but I saw another one that had the same kinds. So those are some of the souvenirs that I got. Another important thing that I often talk about with these travels is the breakdown moment, and this time, like that moment of presence, that moment of beauty that brings me to tears, because I am in this unique time and place to have a unique and important experience. And this time it was at Uxmal, standing at the corner of the Palace of the Governor and looking outward toward the south end of the archaeological sites, looking at the nunnery quad complex, and especially looking toward the pyramid of the magician, and realizing that I was there for not just myself, but for all of you. That I was here not only to fulfill bucket list items for myself and also to replace all those old videos and photos, but this was my opportunity to create and collect content that I could then use to teach for the purposes of this channel. And that filled me with a sense of purpose that I could appreciate, and I could pause and reflect upon while I was standing and looking toward the Pyramid of the Magician and the adjacent nunnery quad complex. So that was my breakdown moments, the moments where I just kind of really appreciated the value of what and the purpose of what I was looking to do in Yucatan. So those were some of the important, like say, the guiding themes, the souvenirs, and the important places that I got to experience from this recent week in Yucatan. So I'm going to wrap up now because I think I said my main points and I need to get back to work. So I'm going to cut it off pretty soon here. So I thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Eye of the Serpent channel. Your support goes toward travel, research, and production. Thank you all for watching, and as we're coming into October, I will definitely be creating a lot more material about Halloween, magic, witchcraft, and of course the Days of the Dead. So I look forward to sharing those and to creating more publications like these throughout the week, throughout the month of October, and into the Days of the Dead season. So thank you all for watching, and good roads.